judging from the warm-up and seeing Apex Muay Thai Canada with the Muay Thai shorts, I think we're in for an interesting boxing round.
Indeed. Well, nobody's going to get damaged if it really is a catastrophe.
ChessBoxing light.
Yeah, well, I mean, the ref is there to control the damage if it's...
All right, we're coming to the center of the ring to touch gloves. We have the first round, seconds out. There's the bell, gloves to touch, and here we go. Canada's first time in the World Championship as well. Good to see some North American brothers joining the action here. Good hook and cross combo to the body, landing. And a warning from the referee that hey, we're hitting light. Yep, it's very clear. Do we know Laura's husband's name? We'll say the French fighter. Another warning. Come on, you can do it. Land a jab.
There you go. There you go.
You got it, Armas.
Yeah, he has to learn to relax a little bit. But it is
turn his back to opponent. Not allowed. No spinning around. So light taps from Canada, but he should tee off. I mean, he definitely has more experience. Finding these holes is the way to go. What's the call there?
I'm not sure.
Me neither. Not really sure what he did wrong. But it was a point deduction for something against the blue fighter.
Maybe that's one strategy to win.
Two good jabs landed.
Yeah.
And he's actually doing something. I don't know if this is just like human nature, if he's trained for this, but doing something very smart by turning his body completely sideways when he attacks.
Like
and
a fencer.
It makes it very difficult for your opponent to find open areas to respond. So big smile on his face as he goes to his corner.
Now, is he happy that he did it, or is he happy that it's over?
I don't think it's an or. I think that might be a both. And very quick to the chessboard. His Canadian fighter friend also making his way over.
I think he understood the assignment. The Canadian.
He did indeed. Yep. Well, after the first two warnings, he understood the assignment. All right. Headphones are on. Seconds out from the first chess round between France and Canada. A clear victory for the Canadian in the first boxing round. Bell is rung, hands have shaken, and we are underway. We have a E4 opening this time, matched by E5.
So Bhutani told me yesterday that he's around the 1,200, 1,300 mark on chess.com. So
okay. So he has his opening set. It looks like both have cleared the way for castling. White has already done it. Black just did the same.
All basic stuff.
All basic and time almost exactly equal.
Here, White can probably take a little bit of space on the queen side, thanks to that structure. So he could start maybe with A4 or B4. There you go. That's a pretty decent move. Bishop B6, and now. So it doesn't actually trap the bishop, but maybe later on, after the trades, it might even serve a purpose in the endgame. For example, you're just closer and you can play a B5 and then open that B file, and everything's already kind of in place.
That's true, but Black also gets a great diagonal, controlling a lot of squares, and it's easy to forget about that bishop tucked away in the corner. I've done that more times than I'd like to admit.
I think that Bologan calls it the dark shark or something, or the shark.
Love a good rhyme. Let's call it the dark shark.
The dark shark. I think I mix up two of his expressions, but So here he's kind of closing in that bishop, but okay, reopening immediately. Maybe white should have handled that slightly differently. But for the moment, it's still very balanced.
Yeah, getting that black dark square bishop out of there, yeah, not sure.
Well, that was traded off a little too easily.
Mm-hmm.
Kicking the queen back.
With tempo.
With tempo. That knight on c6 needs to... Ooh, that is the first blunder. Oh, but he took back with the knight, so...
So it's an equal trade?
It was an equal trade at the end of the day. And now he's got some pressure down the e-file.
And you always want your rooks on the same file as the queen. You can a lot of tactics come off of a pawn that is in the way. Those squares of the e4 pawn is there we go. We're seeing it right now.
That might be a little bit of overkill because now he can. Oh, I would have just probably closed it off, but the bishop then would have been bad. So there was no real. There you go, e5.
Pushing it, great move.
But now the bishop on f4 is slightly stranded.
A little tough. He's going to have to swing back over to the queen side if he wants to activate it more, but it gets traded off right before the bell, and the headphones are off. Ladies and gentlemen, we're about to see a second boxing round between Canada and France. Any predictions for this round? You think it's going to go any differently?
Unfortunately, not. But who knows? Maybe a few more jabs, you know. Maybe
I wonder if we'll see any more warnings for the Canadian fighter to hit lighter. Hence the name ChessBoxing Light. But yeah, I think it's pretty clear who has the advantage in the boxing in this matchup, and we'll see what France can conjure up. We did see a few jabs of promise and potential coming from the French corner, but last round pretty much dominated start to finish by the Canadian fighter, and we'll see if the same thing happens this second round. Definitely more transition time in ChessBoxing Light because of the extra protection equipment. We do have helmets with cross guards and heavier gloves. So back to the corners. Seconds out. Bell rings and fight is back underway. Once again, in the southpaw stance is the French fighter and Canadian fighter. Already landing 2 shots, one upstairs, one to the body. Make that 4. And loving the spin move. We had one last round, one this round. It is illegal in boxing to turn your back to the opponent. Even though in other martial arts it is completely legal to set up a spinning back fist or other spinning kicks, but not allowed in boxing.
Yeah, he's having trouble keeping the distance, basically. That's what he wants to do, but he's still doing the same jab even once the guy's entered. So...
Canada having some fun with it, winding up with the right hand and landing a jab. One of the oldest tricks in the showboating boxing book.
And he took a step back, reset. He's being very gentlemanlike.
I love how much he's holding back. I would hate to see this matchup in ChessBoxing main event regulations.
But it might take a little bit of I think he's still doing it to put a bit of pressure on him so that the chess, maybe it can influence the chess.
Absolutely, yeah. And having 2 boxing rounds in the bag just makes the Canadian fighter have to survive the chess in order to win on the boxing, even though he does have a pretty good advantage on the chessboard too. Great round by Canada, well executed. Definitely won, much more volume. But very proud of Laura's husband, the Frenchman. Another big smile on his face, surviving another boxing round against that Muay Thai mammoth from Canada.
Live my life of chess boxer. There's a series in France where you exchange lives with somebody for a week. So you become like a chess boxer and you have to be a painter or something.
For a second, I thought you said exchange wives with someone for a week. I was like, Carl, I think...
in this day and age, that would be even less surprising.
That is a cool premise for a book or a movie, though. Just trading lives for a week. And to live a life as a chess boxer, I think this would be the week to switch lives, because there's no better week than World Championship week here in Riccione, and the second chess round has begun between Canada and France. Here we go with the DGT board.
So who has the weakest king? That is kind of a question, because the king on h1 could almost be safe, almost. And the king on g8, although there is that pawn, that protective barrier, it could almost be weak. It's very hard to tell.
It is. I would actually give this to white because of the move that you talked about. I mean, either way, I probably would take it to h1 too, but doubling up on that g file is looking pretty scary.
Yeah, this is a bit of a blunder, though. A bit of a blunder, and it was not picked up on.
Yeah,
he could have just swiped that. Rook
could have been a rook.
Yeah,
could have been a rook, and now it's turning into a tempo for black. Okay, let's see if the queen comes off the board for an exchange of two rooks.
It is the only way to deal with this. Otherwise, it would be the loss of a rook. It would be the same as a skewer. So, okay, this is well played. And now generally two rooks in the endgame can be better than a queen, because it's considered, that's why we say the queen is 9 and the rooks are
10.
There you go.
Yeah, 5 and 5. Yeah, and it's only if they work together, though. If they're separated, they're targets. You can find a check with a diagonal attack on a rook and scoop one up.
But what happens generally is that the two rooks attack a pawn. It can only be defended by the king and the queen, and you trade everything off.
G6, G1, that's check and scooping up a rook. He doesn't do it, but that would have lost a rook right there.
They don't need to rush all that much. The time is still there. There's no more boxing rounds to worry about.
If I'm Greg, I am moving as quick as I can. Down 40 seconds, having won both boxing rounds, I do not want to get even close to time constraints, because that looks like the main way that black would win this.
Okay, so this is basically technically over. The rook now can... Oh, now you can just queen.
Rook b8, yeah.
Rook b8, or you could actually queen and just trade the queens.
That's true.
A little bit of counterplay.
Yeah, looks like we can get a series of checks here, but eventually it will be blocked as soon as the king makes it to the A file.
They were fairly even in the chess, actually, even though here white is obviously winning.
And another bell.
Good matchup.
So this is it, right? For ChessBoxing Light, it is 2 boxing rounds, 2 chess rounds, and because both boxing rounds were won by the Canadian fighter, he will win the match. I see what you're saying now about neither fighter having to move too fast, though, because it was going to end long before. That was a good call.
You get to grips with it, I've evolved in my understanding of ChessBoxing Light since the beginning of the tournament. So I'm looking for little strategies,
Yeah, picking up on things, because you have an event not too long from now.
I have no idea when, but
our ring announcer tonight is from Canada and giving his teammate a little bit of grief, saying that he survived the chess rounds when I think he had the advantage, but he was teasing him a little bit, and there's the celebration, the fist bump, and a massive congratulations to Laura's husband for having the courage to get in there,
Bhutani.
try it out.